At 0730 hours on the morning of March 6, 1940, Corporal Simo Häyhä positions himself in his snow hide on the Kola River front. The temperature is -20 Celsius, -4 Fahrenheit. He has been doing this for 98 days. Every day, same routine. Arrive before dawn, dig into the snow, pack snow in front of his position to conceal muzzle blast. Fill his mouth with snow to mask breath vapor. Wait for targets. His rifle is a Sacom 2830, serial number 60974, a Finnish Civil Guard variant of the Mosin Nagant, chambered in 7.62 by 53 mm R. No telescopic sight, just iron sights. The Spitz front post, the rear notch. Häyhä can estimate distances to 150 meters within 1 meter margin of error. Beyond that, he knows his holdovers from thousands of practice shots. Soviet soldiers appear, 400 meters, moving through snow. Häyhä breathes slowly, picks his target, leads slightly, squeezes trigger. The rifle fires. Recoil is moderate. Häyhä works the bolt, chambers another round. The Soviet soldier is down. The others scatter. Häyhä waits. Patience is everything. Another target. 350 meters. The rifle fires. Another hit. The bolt cycles. Another round chambered. This is kill 498 and 499. Later today, an explosive bullet will strike Häyhä in the lower left jaw. The round will crush his jaw, blow off his left cheek. He will lose consciousness. Comrades will carry him to aid station, saying half his face is missing. He will wake 7 days later on March 13th. The day peace is declared. The winter war will end. Häyhä's war will end. 505 confirmed kills, possibly more. The exact number depends on which records are accepted. Häyhä's personal count was approximately 500. His division commander reported 219. A military chaplain recorded 259. Other sources cite 500. All sources agree Häyhä was the deadliest sniper in any major war. This achievement requires explanation, not celebration. Explanation. 500 human beings died because Häyhä shot them. That is the fact. The context is war. The context is Soviet invasion. The context is Finland defending national survival. But context does not erase the human cost. Häyhä killed 500 people. They had families, mothers, some had wives, some had children. They died in Finnish snow far from home fighting a war their government ordered. Häyhä killed them because that was his duty. Understanding what happened requires examining how one man became history's deadliest sniper. Simo Häyhä was born December 17, 1905, in Kiskinen hamlet of Rautjärvi municipality in Viipuri province of southern Finland. Seventh of 8 children, Lutheran family, farmers. His father Juho owned Matila farm. His mother Katrina ran the household and worked the land. Hard-working, typical Finnish farming family. Nothing suggested young Simo would become exceptional. He attended school in Mietilä village, helped on the family farm. The work was demanding, the climate unforgiving. Finnish winters are brutal. Temperatures drop to -40 Celsius. Daylight lasts 4 hours. Snow covers everything. Survival requires toughness. Häyhä developed that toughness early. He learned to hunt. His father taught him to shoot. An old Mosin Nagant M91 rifle. Russian-made. Bolt action. Iron sights. Häyhä practiced constantly. He shot at targets in the forest. He hunted small game. He learned to estimate range by eye. He learned to read wind. He learned to wait. Patience matters in hunting. Movement reveals position. Stillness equals invisibility. These lessons would define his later success. At age 17, Häyhä joined the Civil Guard. Suojeluskunta, a voluntary militia dating from Finland's 1917 independence and 1918 Civil War. The Civil Guard trained young men for national defense. Finland shared a long border with Soviet Union. Tension was constant. Every Finnish male learned to shoot and ski and survive in winter conditions. The Civil Guard formalized that training. Häyhä excelled. He competed in shooting competitions in Viipuri province, won trophies. His home reportedly filled with marksmanship awards. He was not boastful. In group photographs, he stood at the back, modest, quiet, competent. The Civil Guard issued him an American-made New England Westinghouse ME91 Mosin Nagant. Later, he received the improved Sacom 2830. He paid part of the cost to keep the rifle at home. Personal weapon. He knew that rifle intimately. In 1925, at age 19, Häyhä began mandatory 15-month military service. Bicycle Battalion 2 in Raivala, Viipuri Province. He attended non-commissioned officer school. Served as conscript officer in Bicycle Battalion 1 in Tirajoki. Honorably discharged with rank of Upsiriopolis Officers 11. Corporal. He returned to farming and Civil Guard membership. In 1938, 1 year before war, Häyhä received formal sniper training at Training Center in Udat. The training was brief. The Civil Guard already knew Häyhä was exceptional marksman. Formal sniper training refined existing skills, taught tactics, fieldcraft, camouflage, stalking, target prioritization. Häyhä absorbed everything. He remained farmer primarily. Quiet life. Small man, 160 centimeters tall, 5 feet 3 inches. Slight build. Nothing intimidating. He bred dogs, hunted, attended Civil Guard training. Expected to live and die, farming in Rautjärvi. History intervened. On November 30th, 1939, Soviet Union invaded Finland without declaration of war. Operation Barbarossa would not occur until June 1941. In November 1939, Nazi Germany and Soviet Union were allied via Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Secret protocols divided Eastern Europe into spheres of influence. Finland fell into Soviet sphere. Soviet demands were specific. Cede territory near Leningrad, 32 kilometers from Finnish border. Lease Hanko Peninsula for naval base. Exchange other territories. Finland refused. Negotiations failed. Soviets staged Manila incident November 26th. False flag. Artillery fired at Soviet positions from Finnish side. Except it was Soviet artillery firing from Soviet side. Pretext established. Invasion commenced. Soviet forces numbered 450,000 troops, 21 divisions, approximately 1,500 tanks, 1,000 aircraft. Finland mobilized 340,000 troops, 32 tanks, 114 aircraft. The imbalance was catastrophic. Soviet planners expected conquest within weeks. They were wrong. Häyhä received mobilization order, reported to 6th Company of Infantry Regiment 34, JR 34. Under Lieutenant Arne Juutilainen, the regiment deployed to Kola riverfront in Ladoga, Karelia. One of several fronts, the Karelian Isthmus, saw heaviest fighting. Kola was secondary but critical. Kola River was creek-sized waterway, 10 meters wide, shallow, not defensive barrier by itself, but ridges alongside reached 10 meters high. The ridges provided positions. Soil was frozen solid. -40 Celsius in coldest periods, digging trenches was impossible. Finns occupied slit trenches and foxholes, shallow positions, exposed. But the terrain mattered. Forests, snow, cold. Finns knew how to fight in winter. Soviets did not. Soviet 8th Army attacked Kola December 7th. Multiple divisions, 56th Rifle Division, 164th Rifle Division. Others arrived as campaign progressed. Soviet forces outnumbered Finns 3-1. Artillery advantage 5-1. Armor advantage overwhelming. Air superiority complete. Soviet commanders expected breakthrough within days. Push into central Finland. Outflank Mannerheim line from north. Encircle Finnish forces. Quick victory. Finns held. The defense became legendary. Kolla kestää. Kolla holds. The phrase became national rallying cry. Finnish troops refused to break despite overwhelming odds. They used Mahdi tactics, encircle Soviet units, cut supply lines, attack from all sides. Soviet formations were roadbound, lacked skis for cross-country movement. Finns moved through forests on skis, struck from unexpected directions, disappeared into woods. The Soviets could not catch them. Häyhä fought differently. He did not participate in group attacks. He killed from concealment. One shot, one kill. Move to new position. Repeat. His routine was invariable. Arrive at position before dawn. Visibility minimal. Dig shallow scrape in snow. Pack dense snow mound in front of position. The mound concealed muzzle blast flash. Reduced the puff of displaced snow when rifle fired. Provided padding for rifle. Allowed comfortable shooting position. Häyhä wore all white winter camouflage. White oversuit. White face covering. White mittens. Only rifle and eyes were visible. In Finnish snow and forests, he was invisible. Soviet soldiers could be meters away and not see him. He preferred to work alone. No spotter, no assistant. Solo operations. Less movement, less noise. harder to detect. He carried minimal equipment. His M2830 rifle, 50 to 60 rounds of ammunition, one-day food supply. Snow in his mouth prevented breath vapor from revealing position in cold air. The technique was simple, effective. Häyhä sat motionless for hours, waiting, watching. When targets appeared, he fired, worked the bolt, fired again. Sometimes hit 16 targets per minute at 500 feet range. More commonly, he picked targets carefully. One shot per target. Conserved ammunition, minimized exposure. His rifle was critical. Sako M2830. Finnish manufactured improvement of Russian Mosin Nagant. Shorter, heavier, better sights. The Pistikorva, Spitz front sight, resembled Spitz doghead. The rear sight was tangent with range markings. Standard iron sights, no magnification, no optics. Häyhä refused telescopic sights. Multiple reasons. First, scope required raising head several centimeters higher, presented larger target. Second, scope lens could fog in extreme cold, unreliable. Third, sunlight reflected off lens, revealed sniper position. Fourth, Häyhä had trained with iron sights for 20 years. He knew iron sights, muscle memory, sight picture automatic. Scopes were rare among Finns anyway. Few standard issue, most captured from Soviets. Cumbersome, fragile, prone to losing zero in harsh conditions. Häyhä reasoned correctly that iron sights were superior for his purposes. The rifle fired 7.62 by 53 mm R cartridge, 200 grain Dono 166 bullets, standard Soviet ammunition, some dated to Tsarist times, adequate accuracy, moderate recoil, sufficient lethality. Häyhä knew his rifle's trajectory at all ranges. He practiced enough to internalize ballistics. At 400 meters, hold high. At 200 meters, center mass. At 50 meters, point of aim equals point of impact. He made these calculations automatically. Daily routine was consistent. Position established before first light. Wait for targets. Soviet soldiers appeared predictably. They moved along roads, through clearings. They wore dark uniforms initially, easy to spot against snow. Later, they received white camouflage, but by then casualties were severe. Soviet troops were inexperienced. Stalin's purges had killed 70% of officer corps. Training suffered. Doctrine emphasized mass attacks. Individual initiative discouraged. Soldiers moved in groups. Predictable patterns. Perfect targets. Häyhä prioritized. Officers first. Identified by uniform insignia or position in formation. Eliminating officers disrupted command. Machine gunners next. Heavy weapons crews. Then riflemen. Aim for center mass. Chest shots. High probability hits. Not attempting headshots except close range. Squeeze trigger. Let recoil settle. Work bolt smoothly. Extract spent case. Chamber fresh round. Reacquire target picture. Fire again. A daily account of kills at Kola was maintained for Finnish snipers. Häyhä's tally accumulated rapidly. December 1939. Dozens. January 1940. Over 100. February. Approaching 400. March. Over 500. The numbers are documented in Finnish military records. Whether they represent every kill Häyhä made is debatable. He also used Suomi KP-31 submachine gun during group operations. Those kills were not always confirmed as sniper kills. True count may be higher. Some sources estimate 800 total. Soviet command became aware of Finnish snipers, specifically Häyhä. Finnish propaganda emphasized the invisible Finnish soldier. Media featured stories about White Death, Valkoinen kuolema. White Death. The name appeared in Finnish literature about the Winter War. Whether Soviets actually called him White Death remains uncertain. Some sources suggest Finnish propaganda created the name. Russian prisoners, when interrogated, stated White Death referred to severe frost in deep forest, not a specific sniper. Regardless, the legend grew. Soviets attempted countermeasures. Counter-snipers deployed. Experienced marksmen with scoped rifles. They hunted for Häyhä and other Finnish snipers. Had limited success. Finnish snipers were too well concealed, too disciplined, too skilled. Artillery was tried. Soviet commanders ordered artillery strikes on suspected sniper positions. Wasteful, imprecise, destroyed forest. Killed few snipers. Häyhä survived countless artillery barrages by moving frequently. On March 6, 1940, Häyhä's luck expired. Details vary by source. Most accounts state Soviet soldier fired explosive bullet that struck Häyhä in lower left jaw. Explosive bullets were issued to Soviet forces, designed to inflict maximum damage. The round hit below left cheekbone, detonated, crushed jaw, blew off left cheek, massive trauma. Comrades found Häyhä unconscious, face destroyed. They said half his head was missing. Medical personnel expected him to die. They evacuated him anyway. He reached aid station, received initial treatment, transferred to hospital. Surgeons operated. 26 surgeries over months, reconstructed jaw, grafted skin, saved his life. He remained unconscious 7 days. Regained consciousness March 13th, the day Moscow Peace Treaty was signed. Winter War ended. Häyhä survived. Permanently disfigured, face scarred, jaw reconstructed but deformed. He would never look normal again, but he was alive. Field Marshal Carl Gustav Emil Mannerheim promoted him from corporal to Venriki, second lieutenant. Battlefield promotion, skipped multiple ranks, unprecedented in Finnish military history. Recognition of extraordinary service. Recuperation required years. Häyhä learned to speak again. Jaw movement was limited. Speech was difficult, but he recovered function. Returned to farming after discharge. Bred hunting dogs, hunted moose. Lived quietly in Ruokolahti village near Russian border. Declined publicity. Rarely discussed the war. When asked in 1998 how he became such a good shot, he answered practice. When asked if he regretted killing so many people, he stated, "I did what I was told to as well as I could." Häyhä died April 1st, 2002, age 96, peaceful death. Natural causes. He outlived the Soviet Union by 11 years, outlived most Winter War veterans, outlived the hatred and fear and trauma, became legend, the White Death, the most successful sniper in military history, 505 confirmed kills according to most sources, possibly more. The exact number remains contested. The achievement is undisputed. The Winter War ended March 13th, 1940. Moscow Peace Treaty. Finland ceded approximately 9% territory to Soviet Union. Karelia, Viipuri, Hanko Peninsula leased to Soviets. Finland maintained independence. This was victory of sorts. Survival against overwhelming odds. Soviet casualties were catastrophic. Approximately 126,875 dead, 264,908 wounded, 5,131 captured. Finnish casualties were approximately 25,904 dead, 43,557 wounded. The exchange ratio favored Finland dramatically. Kolla held through entire war. The phrase Kolla kestä became permanent part of Finnish identity. The defense at Kolla demonstrated sisu, Finnish word roughly translating as guts or fighting spirit. Determination beyond rational limits. Häyhä embodied sisu. Small man, quiet farmer. 500 kills, catastrophic facial wound, survived, recovered, lived normally. No bitterness, no trauma displayed publicly, just continued living. The mythology surrounding Häyhä sometimes obscures reality. He was not superhuman. He was exceptionally skilled marksman with extensive training operating in favorable conditions against poorly trained opposition. The Soviets at Kolla were inexperienced conscripts. Many had minimal training. They wore dark uniforms making them visible. They moved predictably. They did not use proper tactical movement. They bunched up. They offered easy targets. Finnish defenders had advantages. Knowledge of terrain, winter warfare expertise, superior camouflage, better training, higher motivation defending homeland. Soviets were invaders fighting for objectives they did not understand in conditions they could not handle. Frostbite casualties among Soviets numbered thousands. Finnish troops were equipped and trained for winter operations. The environmental advantage was substantial. Häyhä's success derived from skill, training, conditions, and opposition quality, all factors combined. Remove any single factor and results would differ. If Soviets had been better trained, casualties would be fewer. If temperatures had been moderate, Finnish environmental advantages would diminish. If Häyhä had operated in different terrain, tactics would change. Success was contextual. But acknowledging context does not diminish achievement. 500 confirmed kills is extraordinary regardless of circumstances. The skill required to estimate range without optics, compensate for wind and cold, account for bullet drop, hit moving targets at 300 to 500 meters with iron sights. repeatedly, day after day for 3 months, is exceptional. Few snipers in history achieved comparable results. The comparison to later snipers is instructive. Soviet snipers in World War II claimed higher totals. Mikhail Surkov allegedly 700 kills. Vladimir Salbiev allegedly 700. Vasily Kvachantaradze allegedly 700. Soviet propaganda inflated numbers. Many claims are disputed. Even accepting Soviet claims, their snipers operated over years. Häyhä achieved 505 in approximately 100 days. 98 days active combat. 5 kills per day average. The rate was unsustainable. Eventually he was hit. Inevitable. Modern snipers operate differently. Advanced optics, rangefinders, ballistic computers, spotter assistance, communications. Häyhä had rifle and eyes and experience. No technology, no support, solo operations in extreme cold. The achievement stands alone in sniper history. The human cost remains. 505 Soviet soldiers died. They were enemy combatants, legitimate targets under laws of war. Häyhä committed no war crimes. He fought within accepted norms, but they were still human beings, young men mostly, conscripts. They died far from home in Finnish snow because their government invaded neighboring country. Häyhä killed them because Finland defended itself. Both statements are true. Neither cancels the other. The survivors, Soviet soldiers who fought at Kola and lived, told stories. They feared Finnish snipers, feared the invisible death. Men died without warning. No sound, just sudden impact. Comrades fell. No one saw the shooter. No return fire possible. Morale collapsed. Units refused to advance. Officers had to threaten execution to force movement. The psychological impact exceeded physical casualties. Finnish troops respected Häyhä. He was quiet, modest, competent. He did his job without drama. Other soldiers did their jobs. All contributed to defense. Häyhä's contribution was quantifiable. 505 kills. Others fought equally hard, died in assaults, held positions under artillery fire, froze in trenches, starved on inadequate rations. War is collective effort. Häyhä is remembered because his contribution is measurable. Kills can be counted. Courage defending position under fire is harder to quantify but equally important. The legacy of Simo Häyhä exists in multiple forms. Military training. Sniper schools worldwide study his techniques. Camouflage, patience, shot discipline, environmental adaptation. These lessons remain relevant. Popular culture, books, films, video games. The White Death appears repeatedly, dramatized, mythologized, sometimes accurately, often not. Finnish national identity. Häyhä embodies resistance to overwhelming force. Small nation defending sovereignty. Individual excellence overcoming numerical disadvantage. The mythology serves purpose beyond historical accuracy. The accurate history is more valuable. Häyhä was farmer, who became soldier, who became sniper, who became legend. He killed 505 people during 3 months. He was shot in face. He survived. He returned to farming. He lived quiet life. He died old. Simple narrative. No embellishment needed. The facts are extraordinary. The achievement speaks for itself. The M2830 rifle Häyhä used is preserved. Serial number 60,974. Museums display examples. Collectors maintain functioning specimens. The rifle was ordinary. Standard Civil Guard issue. Häyhä made it extraordinary through skill. The rifle did not create the sniper. The sniper mastered the rifle. The tactical innovations Häyhä employed are standard practice now. Snow in mouth to mask breath vapor. Mounded snow concealing muzzle blast. All white camouflage. Minimal movement. Solo operations. These techniques are taught to snipers globally. Häyhä did not invent them. Others used similar methods. But Häyhä demonstrated their effectiveness at unprecedented scale. The Winter War changed Finland permanently. Territory was lost. Casualties were severe. But independence was maintained. Soviet conquest was prevented. Finnish military doctrine was validated. Small professional force using favorable terrain can defeat larger force. Mobility matters. Training matters. Motivation matters. Technology is useful but not decisive. Human factors determine outcomes. Häyhä's contribution to Finnish victory was real but limited. One sniper, regardless of kill count, cannot determine war outcomes. His psychological impact exceeded physical damage. The White Death legend boosted Finnish morale. terrified Soviet troops, demonstrated that individual Finns could triumph over Soviet masses. That mattered. Wars are won by morale as much as material. The strategic lessons from Winter War were absorbed unevenly. Soviets recognized need for improved winter warfare training. Sniper programs were expanded. Tactics were revised. These improvements contributed to Soviet success against Germany after 1941. Germans learned from Soviet mistakes, prepared extensively for winter operations, still failed in Russian winter 1941-42. Environmental warfare is difficult. Finns mastered it through necessity. Others learned through suffering. The commemoration of Winter War continues. Veterans are honored. Memorials exist. Kola battlefield is preserved. Tourists visit. Finnish identity includes Winter War as defining moment. David versus Goliath. Survival against odds. Häyhä personifies that narrative. One man, one rifle. 500 kills. The numbers are impressive. The symbolism is powerful. The reality is more complex. Häyhä was exceptional marksman in favorable circumstances against poor opposition. Remove any single factor and results change. Recognize all factors and achievement remains extraordinary. 505 human beings died because Häyhä shot them. He did what was necessary. Finland survived. That is historical record. March 6, 1940, 0730 hours. Kolla Riverfront. Simo Häyhä, M2830 rifle. Iron sights. -20 Celsius. Kill 499. Then explosive bullet strike. Face destroyed. Survival improbable. Recovery incomplete. Life continued. 96 years. Farmer. Hunter. Dog breeder. The White Death, who returned to quiet life. The deadliest sniper who valued privacy over fame. That is the story. No embellishment required. Simo Häyhä existed. He fought. He killed 505 enemies. He was wounded. He survived. He lived. He died. The facts preserve his memory better than mythology. The achievement stands without exaggeration. The human cost is remembered alongside triumph. The world's deadliest sniper was 5'3" farmer from Rautjärvi who did his duty and went home. That is sufficient. That is accurate. That is the measure of Simo Häyhä.